Hey, shut up! Hook tells the story of a grown-up Peter Pan who is now a big-shot corporate lawyer that goes by the name Peter Panning. What's that? His name is Peter Banning? Are you sure?
Peter Banning.
Pan.
Banning.
Oh man, I've been saying it wrong all these years, and oh my god. I just remembered in 4th grade going on and on to Laura Springer about how clever it was that his last name was Panning. She must have thought I was an idiot. But honestly, doesn't Peter Panning make more sense? You know? Because he's Peter Pan? No?
Dad, my game. You promised.
I'll be there. My word is my bond.
Jack carries a baseball and a mitt wherever he goes, which is typically a characteristic of someone who's really good at baseball. Which Jack is not. Peter does, in fact, miss the game, but I'm sure it was for a good reason. What a bunch of dorks. Okay, Jack, I get that you're upset that your dad's not there to see you play, but have you seen you play? I'm not gonna lie, that was unpleasant to watch. Even his poor coach looks like he's gonna throw up, and he's probably seen a lot of shitty players in his time. In Peter's defense, he does try to make it to the game on time, so maybe he's not a complete What? How late do you have to be to a game that absolutely no one is there? There isn't even that one assistant coach quietly hauling equipment to the back of a pickup truck. You know the guy I'm talking about. His name was almost always Randy, and he would always help coach even though he didn't have a kid on the team. You know, Randy. Your dad went to high school with him? Peter and his family then head to England for Granny Wendy's dedication ceremony for her orphanage. On the flight over, we learn that Peter is ironically afraid of flying. During the flight, his wife urges him to smooth things over with their son Jack.
Will you stop that? You can break a window.
They're double-layered. You can't break them.
What are you, crazy? You're going to bring down this whole plane. So after Jack is detained and questioned for several hours at the airport, the family finally arrives at Granny Wendy's, and you can definitely feel the awkwardness Peter's going through being around his 90-year-old ex-girlfriend that also happens to be his current wife's grandmother. We've all been there. Remember how when you were growing up, listening to the tales of the carefree, easygoing, adventurous Peter Pan, and you just kept saying to yourself, this is nice and all, but I really just want to see Peter scream at children to the point where they fear he might hit them? Well, if so, here you go.
Will everybody just shut up
I'm sorry.
and leave me alone for one moment more? Get him out of here, will you? I'm on the phone call of my life.
This is when the audience just kind of slowly backs out of the room. The adults then leave for the dedication, and while they're gone, the children are kidnapped by the pirates. Captain Hook leaves a letter taunting Peter because he believes that Peter would do anything to get his children back. The captain obviously hasn't been watching the movie up to this point because I'm not getting that vibe. Wendy attempts to get Peter to remember that he's in fact the real Peter Pan by telling him all about the time they spent in Neverland. The story she tells is the classic boy meets girl, girl grows up, boy stays boy, girl has children, boy stays boy, girl has grandchildren, boy proceeds to bone girl's granddaughter. It's a tale as old as time. What's happening here? Peter? Peter!
Grandma?
Good God, get a hold of yourself, man. Peter is later visited by Tinkerbell, who also tries in vain to convince him that he's the real Peter Pan. Tinkerbell quickly gives up trying to reason with Peter and knocks him out and flies him to Neverland. Instead of taking them directly to the Lost Boys, Tink drops them right in the middle of Pirate Town for reasons that are only clear to a psychotic fairy.
Put your faces on, girl. Here comes Smee. Smee.
Nothing says children's movie like a gaggle of disease-ridden whores. Peter disguises himself and watches as Hook brags about stealing Peter Pan's children and how he's finally going to be able to kill him. Upon seeing his children, Peter reveals himself, and Captain Hook cannot believe that he is actually Peter Pan.
And you're Peter? You're Peter? Yes. You're Peter? Yes. No!
The captain literally can't even right now. Also, what kind of research did Hook do? He obviously knew Peter's travel schedule and what his children looked like, and the fact that they were on holiday in England. Did he not know that Peter was old and doughy? That's just terrible recon work. The mermaids save Peter's life by breathing oxygen into him and... Wait, do mermaids have lungs or gills? Would this work? Is this scientifically accurate? I don't know. Is it? I mean, I guess I don't know enough about mermaids, sea creatures, or basic biology to refute this.
Oh, you're alive!
You're alive? Hold the phone. Did Tinkerbell just leave Peter for dead when he fell in the water and go home and go back to sleep? Was she just going to chalk Peter's death up to bad luck and pretend like it never happened? What else has Tinkerbell just brushed under the rug? I don't think she's a very good friend at all.
All grown-ups are pirates. We kill pirates.
Oh, you kill pirates? Alright, I'm going to hold you to that.
Don't listen to that stinking fairy.
Oh, dude. Can't just call someone a fairy. I know it's the mid-90s and all, but... Oh, you're talking about Tinkerbell, aren't you? Never mind. Tinkerbell finally convinces them to train Peter so that he can fight Hook and get his kids back. They put Peter through a grueling training regimen that seems like it would do more harm than good. Peter is ridiculously out of shape, and now 3 days before the war, they've got him working muscles that haven't been used in years. He's just going to be sore as shit and barely able to move. At the Lost Boys camp, training is done for the day, and they all sit down for a delicious imaginary dinner. What? One more time. Wash it down the alabaster purple? The hell does that mean?
And show me your fastball, dust brain. You paunchy sag bottom puke pot. Hemorrhoidal suck navel. Boil dripping, beef fart sniffing, bubble butt. You are a fart factory. Sludge slimed sack of rat guts and cat vomit.
Rufio is basically that kid in 5th grade who knew a bunch of bad words but didn't really know what context to use them in.
Substitute chemistry teacher.
Mung tongue.
Math tutor.
Pinhead.
Prison barber.
Mother lover.
Nearsighted gynecologist.
So while Rufio's trying his damnedest to just throw out every word he knows, Peter's just disparaging real professions. I mean, I can kind of see the prison barber one, but the math tutor and the substitute chemistry teacher, they're just trying to help kids learn. And as for the nearsighted gynecologist, alright, that one is kind of funny, if not exactly appropriate for a kid's movie. And also, I guess we're just going to gloss over the fact that Rufio basically called Peter a motherfucker. And he also called him mung tongue. For those of you that don't know what mung is, Urban Dictionary defines the process as first checking the obituaries for a recently deceased man or woman. You and a partner will then go to the cemetery where you will dig up the corpse. And this blend of bodily fluids and embalming material is known as mung. Ha! You can wow your friends with that bit of information. The next day, Hook sets up a baseball game to show Jack that he's a better father than Peter ever was. Peter's also at the game so that he can steal Hook's hook, which will then give him the confidence he needs to crow. The training for this battle is just weird. Back at the Lost Boys camp, Peter finds Wendy's old house and memories begin flooding back to him about his time before Neverland.
I was afraid because I didn't want to grow up, because everybody who grows up has to die someday. So I ran away.
That's not exactly what I think of when someone says they ran away. That's more like a baby rolling down a hill and his mother not even trying to follow the path of said hill to find her young infant. I mean, how long was this hill? Could his mother seriously not find him? Was CPS not a thing back then? Peter finally realizes that his happy thought is being a father, and he's suddenly able to fly, fight, crow, and play basketball. All he needs is to win the affection of Pamela Wells, and we've got a super weird Teen Wolf sequel. The day of the epic battle finally arrives, and given that this war is probably thousands of years in the making, you can bet that the Lost Boys have some pretty kick-ass weapons at their disposal. Weapons such as... sunlight. Okay, eggs. Tomatoes. I guess that might hurt. A morbidly obese child. Ooh, here we go. What is this, some kind of flamethrower? Ah, shit. Hey, remember when Rufio said this?
We kill pirates.
Yeah, I'm calling BS on that one. Okay, dude, let's not get carried away here. In fact, the only casualty to occur in this war is Rufio at the hands of Hook. That's probably because the pirates were fighting with swords and not, you know, food and stuff.
Bad boy! That's slow!
Yeah, Jack, stop. There is literally nothing you can do.
Hook's gone.
So, is it implied that the TikTok croc ate him and then digested him? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Hook should still be alive, right? I mean, he should just be able to climb right back out. It's not a big deal, but it seems pretty dumb. So now that Hook has been eaten by a dead crocodile, Peter and his children fly back to England, and Peter's finally going to be a loving husband and father who is full of boyhood wonder. For a few weeks, until they all forget about Neverland and Peter becomes a dick again.